Possible cuts to soldier and Army civilian jobs at Fort Leonard Wood leaves the community looking for a new solution. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Reed.
And I'm Brittany Pieper. The Army's proposal to trim the size of the active Army comes from budget cuts in Washington, D.C. Today, a nonprofit organization held a listening session at Fort Leonard Wood to voice its concerns. KOMU 8's Hannah Solik has been at the fort all afternoon and joins us live with reaction from there in the community.
I'm live in Fort Leonard Wood, where earlier tonight several Missouri lawmakers and community members stood up against proposed federal job cuts at the fort. The big concern here is economic impact. Many people here brought up the ripple effect cutting jobs there could have throughout the region. One community leader estimates the area would lose more than 13,000 people. Representative Steve Lynch emphasized the negative impacts job cuts could have on the close-knit community.
It is also true that if you take that interwoven community and region and tear from it a good part of it, we will all be harmed as a result of it.
Army officials will listen to the community's input and will compile a report to present to federal officials. Reporting live in Fort Leonard Wood, Hannah Solik, KOMU 8 News.
Tonight, the Columbia City Council planned to discuss and vote on three key topics we've heard a lot about recently: paper or plastic at the grocery store, a possible annexation of land near Battle High School, and a new master plan for the Columbia Regional Airport. KOMU 8's Nick Commissar is live at the City Council meeting with more on the votes. Nick?
Tonight, the Columbia City Council decided to withdraw a proposed plastic ban and talked about the possibility of revisiting at a later date. The ordinance would ban single-use plastic bags in stores that sell groceries in Columbia. As a result, people would have to bring their own reusable bags or pay a 10-cent charge for paper bags. The bill was introduced as a way to help eliminate plastic waste. One Columbia resident says not everyone is irresponsible with the bags.
A lot of people recycle these bags, so I hope they don't ban them.
This isn't a totally new concept. California did a statewide ban, and Chicago and Evanston, Illinois did similar bans within Illinois. Now, the council also voted yes on the annexation of land near Battle High School and the new elementary school. The idea is to create a place for a new subdivision near the schools. The property will be near the intersection of Battle Avenue and St. Charles Road. One resident says the subdivision will help create a sense of community in the area.
Anytime you can get the kids who will go to a particular school close enough to that school that they identify with it, have an identity of that school, even walk to their schools, I think it's a great idea.
Opponents of the ordinance said that it would be too expensive for the city, but again, the council voted yes. Reporting live in Columbia, Nick Commissar, KOMU 8 News.
The City Council voted yes tonight on the consent agenda, which included a new master plan for the Columbia Regional Airport. The airport has seen a sizable increase in passengers since 2007. The last time the city updated that plan was 2009. The cost of the plan is more than $850,000. A MoDOT grant will cover about 90% of that cost. The plan will look at sites for a new terminal and infrastructure issues.
A triple shooting Saturday night left one person in critical condition and 3 people dead, including the shooter. Cornelius Parker reportedly shot 3 people in his apartment and tried to leave the scene, but he lost control of his car trying to get onto Highway 63. He opened fire on a deputy who shot back and killed Parker. KOMU 8's Jessica Mensch looked into how common crime is in the neighborhood where this all happened.
The 911 call center's phones ring off the hook, and a large number of those calls come from a small number of people. According to incident log data, the Boone County Sheriff's Department responded to 233 incidents over the past year from the New Haven Meadows subdivision.
Name it. You know, we had the double homicide out there Friday night. We've had other shootings out there. We've had drug activity, every type of criminal act you can think of. We've had at some point in time out on Santa Ana, Santa Barbara, and Rosetta.
O'Sullivan says he is constantly being called to this subdivision, far more frequently than other areas. But some residents in the area say they are not afraid.
You make a lot of friends here and stuff, so it's not really a bad neighborhood.
Resident Kemily Kesevich did not want to be seen on camera, but says she is often concerned for her safety living in the area.
I would consider it a neighborhood that I wouldn't want to live in.
Jessica Mensch, KOMU 8 News, Boone County.
O'Sullivan thinks the best way to cut down on crime in the area would be to make stricter rental standards. He worries some landlords are not checking whether potential residents have a criminal history.
Arrests are up and the number of calls down, according to new data from the Columbia Police Department. The numbers released today cover 2014. The Department Internal Affairs Unit compiled the information, which covered many topics, including use of force and complaints. The department released a similar report for 2012. When comparing the two, police made more than 4,700 arrests in 2014. That's up from about 3,900 in 2012. Police responded to more than 150,000 calls last year. That's down slightly from 2012. Police say it's not the first time the department has published a report like this.
And we have done it in the past, but obviously the chief wanted to be more open with the public and more transparent with the government, is wants that to be put out for.
He says the number of police complaints have gone down in recent years.
A Columbia man convicted of hiring a hitman to kill his partner was sentenced to life in prison without parole today. He was convicted of first-degree murder in January for the killing of Brian Daniels 2 years ago. Thompson's attorneys requested a new trial based on Columbia police statements made in court, but their request was denied. Thompson says his defense did a poor job, saying his attorneys did not finish looking at the discovery in his case before trial. He says his family wants his attorney disbarred. Victim Brian Daniels' sister spoke on behalf of the family in court and with KOMU 8 after the sentencing.
I think that today's sentencing will protect the families in the state of Missouri, because if this man had been allowed to walk free, he would have had no compunction against doing this again.
On the stand, Daniels' sister said similar things and also described Daniels as intelligent, kind, and gifted in art. An 88-year-old man from Columbia pleaded guilty to a reduced charge for the death of his wife last year. Donald Rowland pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter today. He was originally charged with murder. Rowland could face up to the maximum sentence of 7 years in prison. Police were called to the Rowland home last October. They found his wife Betty dead from multiple stab wounds. Rowland had self-inflicted wounds and confessed to the crime on the scene. Rowland is scheduled for sentencing on April 13th. It keeps getting warmer, but it doesn't look like we'll get to see much sun tomorrow, so let's send it over to Kenton for a check of the weather.
Not much sun at all, Brittany, and it was a cooler morning for us, down to 14 degrees at 5:30 this morning. Then we got up to 36, a nice 22-degree jump throughout your day. And now we're actually not too much cooler than that high temperature of 36. We're still in the 30s for a lot of us in mid-Missouri, right around 32 in Columbia, 33 in Jefferson City, only 30 in Macon and Moberly, where they have been seeing just a little bit of some freezing drizzle in their area already this evening. Right now, just seeing some very light sprinkles moving through mid-Missouri on that. You can see on that green color. It's very light. A lot of it's not even hitting the ground, actually. However, we do have a winter weather advisory for Macon, Monroe, Audrain, and Montgomery counties. That's going until 8 a.m. in the morning. And that's where the best chance is for a light glaze by morning hours as well. Otherwise, we are going to be warming up into the middle 30s by sunrise and then into the upper 40s tomorrow afternoon. And we do have that spot shower still possible and some flurries possible on Wednesday. I'll give you the latest hour-by-hour details coming up in just a bit.
Kenton, thanks. No fun and games at a Jefferson City area bowling alley after a busy 24 hours for firefighters.
And it was not the typical rescue of a cat from a tree, but Boone County firefighters did have to help an animal today. We'll show you what four-legged friend.